Okay, yeah, working good, awesome. Welcome back, folks. I apologize for being late. I posted on social media. Uh, I apologize for being late. I posted on Twitter before my stream that I would be late, that I was attending my nephew's field day. And I have explained that, so I am not going to apologize any further than that. I do apologize, however, because I am late. Yes, I did set up a schedule. However, I was unaware that it was going to run as late as it did. So now that I am here, I am sorry. So we can get into some stuff from or for today's thoughts on the Equalizer trilogy. Now let me pull up an overlay because I knew what you all like and don't like. And let's see here. But yeah, I am here, so let's get into this. I do apologize again. Let's see here. I believe that one is it. And but yes, howdy Orange and everybody and good folks in the chat. Good to see you. I won't be able to stay for the stream, but I hope everybody enjoys the stream. Good day, good luck, peace out, stay safe, my friends. Yes, my 5-year-old nephew is graduating kindergarten this year. He just had his field day, and that is why I am late. If anybody has a problem with that, well, sorry, but I do consider family important. I don't get to see my family as much as I'd like to. So, yeah, I'm going when my family is having a festivity. But with that out of the way, let's see here. This thing still is giving me shit. Let's see if that helps. So, yes, today's trilogy discussion is the Equalizer trilogy. I do apologize for my computer acting up a little bit, folks. It just so happens that it's just one of those days. So, yeah, let's get into it, shall we? Now, before I do get into it, I do want to let people know I am trying to reach 2025 subscribers by the year 2025. So before January 1st of next year, I would like to have 2025 subscribers. That is my goal. So if you can help me out with that, support the channel by sharing the channel out, that is the main way that you can help this channel. However, if you if you want to help with other things, likes and watch time, that also helps. I'm above watch time. I'm well over watch time. So I do thank you for all the support in that. But when it comes to the support that I need now is the bigger audience. So if you can do that, that is the best way to do it. And I do thank everyone for tuning in. Tuesday or next week is when me and Mara will be doing our ones and twos and singles. Singles are exclusively on X. I will only be posting about them on X, and we will be discussing it on X. If you want to tune into that, you will have to go when I go live, which at that time will be 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. Go to my profile on X at OrangeHat2185 down here at the down here where this says at OrangeHat2185. And the other one is my original, but I don't stream from there. I stream from the blue check area. So yes, if you want to catch the discussion with me and Jay Chat, it will be on X. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. You got to have to blame YouTube for that because they are the ones who decided to fuck with my channel and create a rule so that they could stop my stream. because they didn't like the fact that people are using Demolition Man as a literal saying, here's what the fuck's going on. Demolition Man kind of called it. But yeah, with that out of the way, we're going to be talking The Saint next Thursday. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday. I might go live tomorrow to talk about The Acolyte and whatnot, give my thoughts on the latest episode. Not so much a review, but kind of to address how the media is attacking people. I do not approve of that. So I will be discussing that. But today is the Equalizer trilogy. And we are going to be, or I am going to be discussing that and what I like about it, what I don't like about it. Anton Fuqua and Denzel Washington, they are like the dynamic duo when it comes to making good, gritty movies. And when it comes to the Equalizer, I only saw the Equalizer like last year for the first time. And then I saw Equalizer 2, and then I saw Equalizer 3. Gotta say, man, these are some good movies. And for the fact that this is Denzel Washington's his first franchise that he has done, I gotta say he did a good job with it. So with that in the chat, hello to Vanya, hello to Neozoic. And well, yeah, let's get into it here. So with the Equalizer, I love the concept because the concept is basically what happens if you are a person that had a rather violent past due to your service for your country. And however, you decided that you didn't want to take part in it anymore because, well, some of the stuff they were doing was against your morals. And so you faked your death. Well, this is the fate of Robert McCall. Robert McCall is played by Denzel Washington, does a great job as Robert McCall. He does a great job in the movie. The choreography for these movies are all really good. I love how Denzel Washington is an actor who is not in politics, or that is something that I really do appreciate. He does have, however, a life view that I do approve of, that I think is very, not that he needs to approve my approval, or not that he cares of my approval, but I do think that he is a good man and he does what he thinks is right. And one of the things is what he does is he looks after people. He sees the injustice that cops will not or do not usually go to or do not handle in a satisfactory way. He's kind of like a Black Punisher, but not really. He's like a Black Punisher without the insanity of Frank Castle. I mean, that is the kind of best way that I could really describe him, but not so much as a Punisher, but in a way, yes, he is. He's not like the Punisher, or he's not like a Punisher, but he is also a Punisher. He does punish people who have slighted those who he cares about. From the first one to the second one to the third one, he has protected people close to him who he is guiding on, or some people who, the way that he talks to them, he's like, you can do whatever you want. He's very inspirational to these people. And then when things start going bad for them, he feels that he can help them with his immense resources at his disposal. He is essentially a very talented CIA asset, or a former CIA asset, in which he could use this stuff to his advantage. He knows how to take fingerprints and stuff without having to use the standard equipment. He knows how to place cameras without people knowing that they're watching him and whatnot. He knows how to create all sorts of cool little things. And he uses the objects at his disposal. So like in the first one, where a girl that he is or at the same diner at, and he's doing the 100 books or 100 books in a year. And he realizes that she is, unfortunately, she's like 18 years old and she's a prostitute. unfortunately. And the Russians kind of have a hold on her. And so he goes out to try to help her when he sees that these guys are abusing her. And so she stops him because she doesn't know about him, obviously. So she wants to try to protect him as best as she can. So then when he sees that she has been injured, beaten by the pimps, he decides to go. And I love how he does this. He goes in, he uses the card that they gave him. He goes in, and he's like, I want a certain girl. She turned up. I'm willing to pay $9,980 or $9,900 some odd dollars, or $9,800 for $9,800 and whatnot. And when they are basically turn him away, they're like, we'll take the money. You can have her for a month, and then we're going to just continue using her. And so when he's walking away, he's gauging the room. I love how he's watching the room. He's taking stock of everything around him. And he's like, okay, so this amount of seconds, 27 seconds. And he kills them all in 27 seconds, a little bit over. And it's like, holy crap, this man he takes a corkscrew to do his neck. He takes a busted glass into another guy. Or puts a shot glass through a dude's eye. It's like, holy crap. And these guys were Russian mafia, pretty high in the Russian mafia game. Well, he told him, he's like, let me explain to you how you're going to die. And he explains to this dude in grisly detail. I'm not going to give line by line. I've seen these movies, or each one of these movies, twice in the last year. So I'm kind of new to the Equalizer trilogy, but I am going off of what I know. And it's like, holy crap. So when he explains to this guy, it's like, and you could have stopped all of this, but you didn't want to take the offer, and you are going to die over a measly $9,800. And then he walks away. Well, then Russia wasn't very happy about losing a few of their pimpers. So they send one of the worst cleaners ever. Worst as in not bad at his job. But this guy, hey, Janet from another planet. Lovely to see you, girl. Folks, Janet, she is also one of the more beautiful streamers out there. So definitely give Janet a subscribe and follow her on X at Janet9 or Janet from another planet. Just look her up. That's definitely, or right there is the profile picture. She's awesome. But yeah, this guy comes in, kills the other woman who was a hooker and whatnot, kills her, makes it look like something else. Gets on McCall's radar, and McCall is able to play stupid with the guy for a bit, but he knows that these guys are that this guy is onto him. So he uses another apartment building, and he gets his stuff into another apartment building while recording these people as they go through his apartment building, identifying each one of them. The cops are dirty as hell. One of them is played by David Harbour, who played Hellboy and who plays in Stranger Things and other stuff. Violent Santa or Violent Night, which is awesome. Does a really good job at it. The acting in this movie is superb. The acting is very, very freaking superb. And when it comes to the Equalizer, I've taken a look at the Equalizer show compared to the Equalizer movie. The movies are far superior. Nothing against Queen Latifah and whatnot. She does a good job acting. She's actually a great actress. It's just that those movies or that show is also pushing reality social issues and whatnot that are blatantly false, in which these movies that Anton Fuqua does are based solely to entertain. You give a good story, you write the story, you keep it going, and you do a good job at it. When he starts cutting loose, I mean, he works at a store, and these guys are like, "So which one are you?" He's like, "I was a pip." And what'd you do before you start working here? I was a pip. And like, a pip? You know, what's the names of the pips? Can't remember the names. I'm sorry. And it's like, which pip were you? The one on the right. And so then after he rights the wrongs and the Russian people are on, well, one of his coworkers who works the register is getting robbed at gunpoint and takes the woman's ring, which was her mother's. And so he's like, just give it to her or give it to him. No need and whatnot. And he follows the guy out, gets his license plate and whatnot, his car, general description. And then the next day, she opens up the register. It's there. And you see, I love how you see that. You see him wiping down a hammer and there's blood on the, yeah, Gladys Knight and the Pips. Yeah. Thank you, Vanya. Yes. Thank you very much, Vanya. And I love how he's just wiping off the hammer. You see blood on the freaking tish or the rag. And it's like, holy shit. he doesn't freaking hold back. And these cops who are shaking down people because one of these people that he was helping get a security job so he can help his mama. Well, her restaurant or her little restaurant area got burnt down. And so he had to quit his job to help her. And he sees that these cops keep shaking her down and whatnot. So he's like, oh, okay. So he messes up the cops. He also records them over the week, extorting them and whatnot. And then he beats the hell out of them. And he's like, now you are going to return all this money and you are going to turn yourselves in. Otherwise, well, yeah, this will be in the news. And so I love his moral compass. He will force those who are inflicting pain on others, who prey on others, who are the worst scum. He will make them essentially wish they had never did what they did. And he blows up a freaking oil tank because he goes to one of his friends who is still in the CIA, who is a matter of the government, or she's in the government and whatnot, or out of the government, but still has connections and whatnot. And so she finds out they won't touch this guy who is sending over this, or there's this guy, but they won't touch him because he's in with the right people in Congress. Well, she's like, what are you going to do? I'm going to make a mess. And he blows up a freaking oil refinery that costs this Russian hundreds of thousands of, or tens of millions of dollars, I think hundreds of millions of dollars. And the guy starts getting pissed off about his cleaner not getting the job done quick enough. Find this man and kill him. Get it out of there and whatnot. Well, he starts going after McCall's friends at the store. And McCall uses his resources, masking where he is. He's like, all right, I'm heading right to you. Well, his phone is heading towards the guy, but he is on his way to the store where his friends were. It's like, you can either show up here and face us directly, or your friends will die immediately. He's like, all right, I'll face you and whatnot. Well, it turns out he goes to the store using the resources at the store. And I like how he doesn't make these people die slowly. He does what he has to kill them. He uses the methods to just kill and move on. He doesn't stare into their eyes and whatnot. He just kills them. And he's like, should have learned. And then he just moves it off. And that's how that story goes. And then the second one, it becomes personal because the friend he was talking to, the female friend, well, turns out she gets killed in the second one. And he goes off. Or a lot of people say when a person goes off, they go off psychotically. Robert McCall in this one, he goes off in a way that is not the normal way that people go off. He learns everything he needs to know, and then he executes his plan. He learns that she was killed by her own team, his former team as well, who thought he was dead because he did fake his death and whatnot. He's like, I'm going to find out who did this. So if you find out first, you better tell me. He's like, you will be the first man or that finds out. Well, turns out that the person he's talking to was the one who did it. And brilliantly played by that Mandalorian actor, that jackass who called 80 million people Nazis. I can't remember his name right now because Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal. I did remember his name. He plays the role great. He plays a villainous role very well. I do like Pedro Pascal as an actor. I hate him I don't hate him. I don't agree with him as a person. I believe that his moral outlook as a person is rather skewed. But that's just it, really. But when it turns out there is a people in his life that these guys do, it's essentially the same formula. They go after the people he cares about, you know? He's like, I know you're in here, man. Or they go after his house. He's like, oh, did you finally realize I'm not there? And he's like watching them and stuff. He's like, good, very good, McCall and whatnot. He's like, you really want to finish this? Just come to my house. He knows, or now there's a hurricane coming in. And he goes to the place where the hurricane is going to hit. And it's so great, man. I mean, you see McCall using some resources like wonderful thing about flour, folks. It oxidizes in the air. You dust a room with flour, like with flour everywhere, light a match, you're going to get a good explosion. You're going to get a good flare and whatnot. Because flour is very richly oxidized. And he uses that to his advantage. And he kills all of the team and saves him for last and then kills him. And it's like, that's all she wrote. But they do go full villainous. And there's this kid that he's helping. He helps him not get into a gang because these guys these other punks were ready to get him in or put him into a gang and kill somebody because, well, he was at the age and whatnot. And he's like, kill me, man. Because it doesn't matter who you kill as long as you kill, right? But he talks him down so much. The dialogue is written in such a way that it's hard to find a counter with his reasoning. It is hard to find a counter with the reasoning of Robert McCall. Robert McCall's reasoning works in every sense of the way because the man is morally justified in what he does. The third one, I know a little bit better because I watched that more than twice. I watched it 3 times. And also it's more fresh in my mind. Where he goes to Italy because he was getting money back from this group extorted from this guy from his retirement, an exact amount. And then while he's there, he realizes, drugs. Okay, information here. This stuff will be useful. But on his way out, one of the kids who is a part of this cartel or of this Italian Camorra, it's the Camorra, the Italian mafia. Well, the kid shoots him. And I love the reaction when he gets shot. He goes down like this, shoots a few times in the air to anybody or to try to figure it out, but then he whips around and sees that it's the kid with a gun. And there's that moment. There's a moment where he's just sitting there and he has it to his head. He's like, maybe this is the time when I find or where I am too old to continue doing this. This might be the time when it's time to hang it up. Maybe maybe I don't want to die slowly. But you know what? He continues going, he passes out, and some good people over in Italy, they help him and they nurse him back to health. And I like what the doctor says. Are you a good man or a bad man? And he tells him, I don't know. Because in this movie, McCall, or in the third movie, McCall is really questioning his life. He's having that moment of reflection. And now and then as he starts realizing, I could make a life here. I could live here peacefully. Maybe it is time that I do finally fully hang it up and retire and whatnot. And, well, like everywhere else in the world, people will prey on the weak. And the Camorra preys on the weak in his area. And even after he is recovered from his gunshots and a doctor helps him and whatnot, on the down low, not at a hospital, he calls in what he found. And this woman tends to, or at the CIA and whatnot, he's like, how are you guys at the CIA, right? Click, click, or she up on him. So he's like, oh, okay, they're not into humor. So he calls him again. She's like, do you know what number you're calling? Yeah, I'm calling the strategic threat analysis at the CIA. And she's like, and you think that this place might be might be prudent and whatnot. So yeah, I really do like that moment because she dials in, she looks it up. She's like, there might be some stuff here. So they set up an operation, and lo and behold, when they get there, it's like ISIS is bringing in drugs, or terrorists are bringing in drugs through a port in Italy. And the Camorra is running Italy, essentially. Well, Robert McCall starts to see what happens when the Camorra is abusing the people around him that he cares about. And so he does the normal standard. He watches, he learns what he has to. And when one of them is late on their payments and they burn his place down, he sees it's the same guys that he saw before. And it's like, oh, all right. And then he also is introduced to the woman who is at the same cafe that he is at. And he picks her out immediately. He's like, if I turn like this, you can get a better shot. Like 3, 2, 1. He smiles at her and she takes another picture of him. And so it's like, your voice are not exactly what I thought you looked like. And it's a nice he's kind of mentorish. He knows exactly who she is. She doesn't know exactly who he is, but she does know his name and whatnot. It turns out later on, it's a nice little reveal at the end, that she is the daughter of his friend that died in the second one. And it's a wonderful, nice little continuation, because he's like, I ain't going to be able to do this all the time anymore. And yes, it does ride the legal line, but I am only doing what I have been tasked to do. I do my best to do it effectively, and it is the right thing to do. I mean, there's what's legal, there's what's right, there's what's easy, and there's what's not legal. I choose to do what is right, essentially, is Robert McCall, or that's his essential morality. You do what's right. And when the Kimura starts attacking U.S. government agents that were there, that he knows which ones are there, she gets hospitalized and whatnot. And they come after him, and it's like they hold the entire block hostage. It's like, if y'all don't tell us who it is that killed my brother and whatnot, because he did kill, or he straight up killed the guy's brother, or the main bad guy's brother and whatnot. And he's like, if you kill me, all these people are going to stand against you. You can't kill all of them. And so the bad guy actually looks around. He's like, tomorrow I will be back here and I'll slaughter everyone here. And then I'm also going to kill you. And he's like, well, you see you tomorrow then. Robert McCall, I love how he handles it. He doesn't give that guy till tomorrow. He knows everything he needs to know. Follows him back to where they are. And then he kills him in the middle of the night. But he does kill this guy slowly. He does make sure this guy dies slowly. Stabs him, lets him crawl out of his house in the middle of the public. This guy is crawling away, dying slowly, and he just watches him die. In this case, it was deeply personal because Robert McCall started caring for everyone around him. And that is something that is rather truly inspiring. Now, I'm not saying that if somebody slights the people around you, you go out and kill them. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that I do approve of helping those around you, especially if they have learned to, or if they accepted you as one of their own. Because as he is going through this small town in Italy and whatnot, recovering from being shot, they do accept him. Or he helps them out. He does what he can, and they all have accepted him as one of their own. And that is why when the bad guy showed up there in the town square threatening to kill everybody, a few of them came out with guns, trained on the main baddie. It's like, you really think that a couple of peasants with guns is going to be enough? And it's like, it won't just be a few peasants with guns if you kill me here right now. He tells him, it's like, you can think about this. You can kill me right now, but it won't do you any good. I mean, there's just so many great parts in the Equalizer trilogy. If there is ever a fourth one, which I'm kind of wondering, should they really do a fourth one? I really do think that they shouldn't. Anton Fuqua did a wonderful job with Equalizer 1 and 2. And then a few years later, finally, Equalizer 3. I think that it's a good way to stop and pass the torch. Yeah, you got a female lead who could pass the torch to it, because he visits her in the hospital, and she's like, what's that? 400,000 yada yada dollars, or down to the exact amount. And then he explains that a person got cyber hacked. His entire retirement fund was stolen from him. I tracked down where it was wired to. I went there, got the money back, and I am just here to deliver it, or I just want to deliver it back to him so that he can have his retirement. That's all it was. All that adventure in Italy was because he was there simply to collect a person's retirement. Yeah, 366,404 or 440 something, or $48, I'm guessing. And it's like, wow. Or yeah, $366,400. Yeah. And that's all it was. And so she delivers it to the guy, and he's like, what is this? 366, or she explains it to the guy who he helped, because he didn't go back to the US after, or she returned to the US and brought it to him. She's like, $366,400. Who are you? Or who are you? Just a person that's wanting to do the right thing. You were wronged. You didn't deserve what happened to you. So I helped you because I knew I could. I wanted to do the right thing. And so Robert McCall, or I love how they end it. He's in Italy, staying in Italy, essentially retiring, passing the torch, so to speak, to his friend's daughter, because it's then realized that, or it's then she goes back to her office and you see the picture of her mother and her at her college graduation. And it's like, well, holy shit. Now we know why he had, or why, now we know why McCall had a keen interest in her and knew that he could trust her because she was her mother's daughter. I mean, these movies, I could go over them for hours. I mean, it's only been 40 minutes, and I am sorry for being late again, folks. But when it does come to the Equalizer trilogy, it is so well planned out, so well thought out. Anton Fuqua is really a detail-oriented filmmaker. Look at some of his past movies, specifically movies like Training Day. He puts everything he does, or things that seem innocuous later or early on, tend to have a payoff later on in the film. A good example in one of his earlier films, Training Day, was the woman who, or the student who ditched and was getting attacked in an alley. Well, Ethan Hawke saves her, and well, it pays off later on. When he's about to die, the people who are about to kill him turned out to be related to the girl he saved. And you have those small moments in the Equalizer trilogy as well, where you have these small things. However, it's a much more faster pace. They tend to pay off a little bit quicker. I mean, one of the great parts in the first Equalizer movie is his whole interaction with David Harbour, his character, the Irish cop. He's like, "Do you know who the fuck you talk, or you know who the fuck you're hanging around with and whatnot?" And he's like, "Or you're screwing with, man." He freaking laces up David Harbour's car with the whole suicide rig, so to speak, where you're going to choke on your own exhaust and whatnot. And he just continues to roll up the window, making the guy get sicker and sicker, choking and choking. Then he rolls it down. He's like, "Ah, fuck, I'm not going to do it." Oh, okay. Let me marinate a little more. He's willing to do what is necessary, but only to the extent he needs to go. He's not going to, or Robert McCall is not sadistic. You know, he does what only is necessary to get what he needs to figure out what is going on. And then he gives all that fucking money away to the workers that are working for this Russian dude. It's just so fucking hilarious. He's like, "Now I'm pretty sure you got a retirement package. You always, or people like you always have a way to get out and whatnot." "Fuck, I don't got a retirement package." He's like, "Well then, fuck, I guess you're turning yourself in. You might actually get out of it clean if you turn yourself in this time." And so, yeah, there is that whole situation. I mean, the second movie is more personal for McCall, but he still has that moment with a few side characters. I like when one of my favorite points in that movie, besides the major points, was he's driving this one assassin who's looking for him because he's an Uber driver. And he's in the second one. He's an Uber driver who's driving and whatnot. And this one assassin guy tells him where he needs to go. And so he realizes, he drives past the place because he knows this guy's not wanting to go there. He's like, "So when are you going to make your move? I drive past the airport 3 times already." And so when the guy finally attacks him, he ditches the car, burns it, and kills the guy too. But he also, I like in the beginning, it pays off at the end where he's talking to this elderly man who got ripped off by the Germans of 1944. And he's looking for his sister. And there was a painting of his sister, and he never forgot that. So while he was doing all of this, he also looked into that as well. And at the end of that, he meets his sister again, or this elderly man finally meets his sister at the end of the movie. And it's like, he came through for that man too. It's all these innocuous little things at the beginning, but yet he looks into it and you didn't even see him look into it. And yet he finally helped, or you see that he was paying attention. It is such a great pay it forward kind of stuff, you know? Robert McCall is a person that a lot of people can aspire to morally and should hold inspiration to and admiration for morally. I am not saying that his lethal tactics are something that a person should do unless there is absolutely necessary if you're protecting your own and whatnot. But the kind of person that he is, just willing to help out people who need a little bit of help, that's something that everybody should aspire to. And unfortunately, we live in a society where greed is often, it often permeates our society to the point of it makes people wonder, is it really worth helping out people anymore? I do my best to help out people when I can. I do my best to help out friends online. If they need the watch time, I'll watch a few of their stuff to help get their watch time up. If they need a sub, I'll give them a sub. If they need extra few subs, I'll share out their content as best as I can. I mean, it's such a powerful, kindness is such a powerful tool because it does more than just does more than gain gratitude. It gains friendship. It gains a way of connecting with others in which they will be more inclined to help you if you ever need it. And that is something that Robert McCall did very well. He helped all these people. And he was helping those people in Italy, and they were all willing to step up for him. Because they realized that the Camorra in Italy is not going to stop unless, well, he stopped them. He took the more direct route. It's like, some people say, well, why not just kill these people? Well, then somebody more evil will take their place. I mean, that's not always true. He went in, and not only did he kill the heads of the Camorra family, but he also turned in evidence to the Italian government that as well as the CIA, the federal government of the United States, who also had investigation going on there. A joint investigation turned out that the Camorra had ties with terrorism, and, well, there you go. They shut that down. And Robert McCall just has a way of leading people to the right path. And I really do appreciate that about him. Guide people if you can. Don't do it for them all the time, but help guide them if you can. And in Robert McCall's case, unfortunately, sometimes people who he helps get used or get caught in a crossfire. I do like how he is willing to step up for them. You know? Now, when it comes to the flaws of these movies, I mean, the second one is incredibly flawed because you're dealing with hurricane force winds, and you got Pedro Pascal up there playing sniper and whatnot, and he's shooting at the two is definitely the weakest one. He's shooting at this car, and he's like, I wonder if I'll miss the next time. And it's like, you shouldn't even be hitting the car if you're aiming at the car. With those hurricane force winds, your bullet is going to go out of the gun and immediately start swerving. If you are aiming here, your bullet's going to land way, 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 way over there in hurricane force winds. So, yeah, there are some flaws in these movies. Rating each of them, I would say that the third one is the best one. I like the third one the best. The first one is the second best. The second one is the weakest because it is more of a personal story. However, it's also impersonal in a way with other things outside of it. But I do think that the second one is the weakest objectively because the first one is good. First one's great. Second one, it's good. It's a small step down. The third one, freaking phenomenal. I made the mistake of watching or of almost watching these, or I almost made the mistake of watching these out of order. Because I was ready to watch the third one, and it's like, maybe I should wait or hold off and watch the first and second one. Because I do want to watch the first and second one to get an idea. Because if you catch something in the third act, it really does hurt your experience, you know? It really does make your experience with the film or with the franchise imperfect because you're always going to realize I learned all this stuff a little bit too soon when I should have been paying attention to this first, you know? It's like learning that 8 is the answer before you even learn what the equation is. It's kind of a cheat and doesn't really work very well. So yeah, the first or the third one is it goes 3-1-2 for me. 312. And honestly, I love I think it was Amanda Seyfried who is the daughter in the third one. I think she did a wonderful job. I think that she did an extremely wonderful job for the role that she had. I can't remember, or I think it's Seyfried. Yeah, I think it's Seyfried. I'm pretty sure, Vaughn, you can look that up. But yeah, the Equalizer movies, they are pure entertainment. But they also do carry a very powerful, positive role model in Robert McCall. You shouldn't go out and do the violent stuff that he does, but you should definitely go out and do the positive things he does for others, which is to help others by doing whatever you can in order to ensure that they have a little bit of help, you know? Actually, I'm going to do something here. I want to look up something. Because Voodoo or Fandango at Home actually has those metrics where they show things like positive role models and whatnot. So as that starts to load, hey, Geek Archivist, it's good to see you, man. Ellie Fanning, yeah, sorry, it was her. God damn, I sometimes freaking mix those ones up. Or Fanning and Seyfried. I don't know why. But thank you so much, Vanya, for that. Come on. Well, I won't be able to, or it's not loading, folks. It's not really wanting to for some weird reason. However, let's see here. I can, however, look it up on here, my phone, because it will load a lot quicker. Yep, way quicker. Let's see here. Sign in. Sign in. Now go to Equalizer. The Equalizer. Okay, the first one. Let's see here. I own all three of them. watching Fandango at home app. I can do that. But let's see here. Community user ratings, more info. Or no, right here. Positive role models for the Equalizer 1 is out of 5, it's rated 2. Really? Okay, so now let's go to Equalizer 2. I mean, unfortunately, Voodoo Fandango also owns Rotten Tomatoes, so it's like, well, yeah, you guys don't exactly know much, do you? Positive role models, 2. Oop. Equalizer 3, positive role models. Let's see here. 2. It is insane. Positive messages, 2. How is that? I mean, it just shows that these people honestly have no fucking clue. You know? It's like, seriously. How do you come up with that? You know? It's just insane. I mean, these are movies in which there is a lot of positivity preached. And yes, you do see that there's violence and whatnot, sure. But yeah, 2 C's, 2 L's, yeah. McCall. Yeah. But as for the Equalizer show, Rotten Tomatoes has really low standards on certain films. Yes, they do. But when it does come to the virtual library, their virtual library is the best one to have. Personally, folks, I highly recommend, if you do have a virtual library, Fandango at home, or what's formerly known as Voodoo, VUDU. It still has VUDU as their website. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. That's a line from the third one. Yeah. But when it comes to Voodoo or Fandango at home, is the best one they do, because honestly, if you have, or I've been using their platform for years, and I've built up my platform. I have over 600 movies, working on 700, I do believe now. But they were gracious enough. They were gracious enough to automatically update some of my movies to 4K. And it's like, thank you so much. I do appreciate, they upgraded like 5 of my movies automatically to 4K for appreciation of using their stuff, because I get a lot of my movies over there on Vudu. I won't get them on Amazon because Amazon Prime Video can sometimes, or will sometimes, destroy the stuff, or will sometimes or erase your library. Equalizer show with Michael Caine was great. Yeah. Equalizer, it was based on, or it was based on an older show. Yeah. I have not seen Michael Caine show, but I have heard that it was based off of that. They did that to a few of my films that I own too. Nice. Because yeah, a lot of people are like, you can't really get, or digital is all well and good, but unfortunately, if something is changed in the final cut, they will change it in the Voodoo or in your digital copy as well. And unfortunately, that is true. I do have the despecialized editions of Star Wars, and I do have the physical media of Star Wars. Unfortunately, Disney did change the final cuts to a couple of the movies. They did edits to episode 2, episode 1, episode 6, and episode 4. So yes, there have been edits that I am not very fond of, McClunky. But other than that, yeah, I completely do support Voodoo. However, I do not support their Rotten Tomatoes and their real parents or whatever things, because they are triggered by the they are politically correct. They will judge things by political correctness, and I don't think that that is something that they really should do. Another good thing to back up some of your stuff on is Movies Anywhere. It is a place that you can put or if you have multiple libraries like on Amazon, on YouTube, or in Google, as well as on Vudu, Movies Anywhere will take most of your movies and put them into one area. Plus, Movies Anywhere also gives you special features to certain films where Vudu won't always do that. One of the things I do recommend if you do Vudu, don't always get the movies straight out from when they are released unless you really do support the movie. I can wait, or I usually wait for, I have my wish list, and therefore I wait for things to go on sale. That way, also check the bundles. If the bundles cost less than they do when the movies or the movies individually, which is supposed to be the case, make sure that you check your bundles, but you also check individual prices. iTunes doesn't do the whole special features unlike back then several years ago. However, if you have your iTunes connected to Movies Anywhere, those movies will have the special features. I do know that. But yeah, folks, definitely check out, or I do recommend the Equalizer trilogy for anybody who hasn't seen it. Great films by Anton Fuqua and Denzel Washington. I mean, Anton Fuqua, a lot of people don't give him a lot of credit or don't give him enough credit. The man is a freaking, or is masterclass when it comes to movies. And some people are going to say, well, he's one of the greatest black movie makers. It's like, no, man, he's one of the better movie makers out there. I don't care that he's black. It has nothing to do with him being black. It has everything to do with his style, his way of telling a story, his way of having a lot of the small details pay off. It's such a great way to tell the story. I mean, if I could ever interview Anton Fuqua, I would. I would love to talk with that man, get up in his mind and like, what's your process for these movies? You know, I mean, it really does come out with a lot of stuff, or it really does make a person enjoy doing what they do when you're somebody like me. If you have somebody like that who is willing to chat and whatnot. Anyway, folks, next week, what's next week? Next week's theme stream. Let's see here. Alrighty. Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. So, Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy with Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp. I will not be going over the 4th and 5th because I do not acknowledge those. They are canon breaking. Also, bundles are a really good way to get good deals. Yes, they are, but definitely check out the movies individually as well. Because there was a bundle that I recently, or I got the movie separate, paying a few bucks more than the 3 movies themselves, and it's like new. Unfortunately, the Fallen trilogy, Angel or Olympus, London and Angel Has Fallen, you can't get those bundled because they're done, or all 3 of them are done by different studios, which is like, oh shit, that's kind of screwed up. But I am looking to get those movies eventually. I really do like them. Olympus Has Fallen was hard to watch because I haven't seen London and Angel yet, but Olympus Has Fallen was a very hard movie to watch because you are seeing the American government basically get taken over by terrorists, and it's never a good thing. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to get back to some stuff before tonight because I got the Barroom podcast on Society Reviews channel. I'm also going to continue reading my Star Wars book, The Dark Lord Trilogy, currently on Labyrinth of Evil. That's basically like the 9/11 of Star Wars. I mean, yeah, it takes place during the sacking of Coruscant, and it's essentially their version of 9/11. But anyway, folks, I'm going to get going. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in on X and on Twitter. Make sure that you remember next or my Thursday streams on that discuss movies with Mara Jade. They're only on X. The only way that you can go there is by going to my profile, clicking the bell and click the bell. Turn on the notifications for my posts, for my account, or for my profile, because if you don't, you are going to miss things that are important, like the fact that I told people I'm going to be a little late today. I should have also posted it on Facebook. I do apologize for not doing that. However, yes, if I say I'm going to be late, I'm most likely going to post that stuff on Facebook or on X first. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Look for the Barroom podcast on Society Reviews channel, and I will talk to you all then. Until then, folks, this has been Orange Chat. Y'all have a wonderful day, and always remember to stay humble.